Jam is actually a project that I started when I was in high school. I was sent on a leadership camp in grade 11. I was 17 years old and they told me to choose an issue in my community that really made me angry, made me want to do something about. And so I chose education because I realized in South Africa, even though post-apartheid we're meant to be equal, there's huge inequalities in our education system. And so being a high school learner, seeing what's going around, seeing the other schools that don't have the same opportunities, I felt compelled that there's a responsibility to help bridge this gap of inequality that we find ourselves in. And so I wanted to start by bridging this gap with the youth and using African music to do that. Marimba Jam started as just that sharing of passion and joy and culture, and now it's grown to become a diverse company. We have a performing band made up of university students, professional performing band. We have academics, the whole syllabus that we've written so that this African marimba can be the first African instrument taken as a subject instrument at schools. And of course our fourth pillar is our outreach pillar, because that's where Marimba Jam started. So our outreach model and actually our whole business model has started from just school fees paid by the learners who can afford our services. So we work from private schools to government schools to Waldorf schools to independent schools. At some schools, like the private schools, they pay us to train and do the lessons, and then we use the profits to then do the outreach band teachings. A huge challenge which I've noticed growing up in the system, going to university, being part of the Fees Must Fall movement, seeing the different cliques of people at university, it made me realize that there's actually a disconnect between the youth of South Africa. And there's a divide in this fabric of the youth. And so what we do at Marimba Jam is we put a lot of emphasis on community building, nation building, using the youth and taking them out of their comfort zones and connecting them across the socioeconomic barriers that I find really separate the youth in our country. So ways that we do that is we invite outreach schools to come to these other schools who maybe have better resources than them, who can afford resources. And so they get to interact with the learners across that socioeconomic barrier. But then we also do annual events like the Marimba Jam Festival, and that brings together all 400 of our students on one stage, on 100 marimbas, 100 djembe drums, all 400 of them playing the exact same song together, making music, and that is probably the most beautiful moment of the year. This DICE program, I cannot even begin to tell you how valuable it's been in my life. I've gained so much, and then the facilitators and the actual content we're going through, it's something I've never done with my company. I've never looked at all the different aspects from marketing to sales to our value proposition. I didn't know what a value proposition was, and so trying to communicate what we do at Marimba Jam has been a bit of a challenge for me. And so this DICE program has really helped me to segment the parts of the company and package it so that we can communicate what we do in a better way. The DICE program has taken us from what I'd say has been a project that's just organically grown with many aspects, and it's now packaged us as a proper social enterprise ready for the scale and grow journey. My 5-year vision is to have music in all schools in South Africa, and I think it's possible, and I think that we are setting ourselves up to really make the music systems and education systems more Afrocentric. And our way is through music, but I think the entire syllabus is moving towards that, and we want to be a part of that in the next 5 years.